World of espionage, some battles are fought with armies and tanks, while others are carried out in silence with shadows, whispers, and a single well placed bullet. For decades, Mossad, Israel's intelligence agency, has been the center of the shadow war. Its missions are cloaked in secrecy, its methods denied, and its operatives often vanish into the night without a trace. Among its many reputations, one stands out more than any other: Mossad's alleged network of secret assassins, operatives who strike where the state deems someone too dangerous to live. Officially, Israel rarely admits responsibility, but history is full of stories. From Munich to Tehran, where Mossad's hidden hand seems impossible to deny. This is the story of Mossad's most mysterious assassinations, the story of politics, vengeance, and survival, carried out by men and women whose names we may never know. To understand why Mossad built such a reputation, we must look at Israel's unique situation. From its birth in 1948, the young nation faced enemies on every border. Wars were fought in 1948, 56, 67, and 73. And between these wars came waves of terror attacks, hijackings, and threats against civilians. For Israeli leaders, traditional defense wasn't enough. They needed to stop threats before they reached Israeli soil. That meant targeting individuals, leaders of militant groups, scientists working on hostile weapons program, and those seen as plotting mass violence. The most famous example of Mossad's assassinations campaign is Operation Wrath of God. The year was 1972. At the Munich Olympics, Palestinian gunmen stormed the Israeli athletes' quarters, killing 11 members of the Israeli team in an attack broadcast across the world. The massacre shocked Israel and left its leaders determined to respond. Prime Minister Golda Meir authorized Mossad to hunt down those responsible. What followed was one of the longest and most secretive assassination campaigns in modern history. Mossad operatives fanned out across Europe, tracking members of the group known as Black September. Over the next several years, targets were shot in Paris, Rome, Athens, Beirut. Some were killed with silenced pistols in their apartments. Others were blown up by car bombs. Each operation was denied. Each operation added to Mossad's legend. But Operation Wrath of God also revealed the dangers of this strategy. In 1973, Mossad assassins in Norway killed a man they believed was a senior Black September operative. Instead, it turned out to be an innocent Moroccan waiter named Ahmed Bouchiki. The fallout was intermediate. Norwegian authorities arrested the Mossad team, and Israel faced international outrage. Yet, even this failure added to the aura of mystery. It showed Mossad's operatives could appear anywhere, and it showed that mistakes, when they happened, would be disowned and forgotten. Mossad's use of assassinations didn't end in 1970s. In fact, it evolved with time. In the 1980s and 1990s, attention turned to scientists and engineers working on weapons programs hostile to Israel. Reports emerged of mysterious explosions to research facilities, scientists killed in suspicious accidents, and laboratories mysteriously sabotaged. Though Israel never claimed responsibility, intelligence experts around the world pointed the finger at Mossad. The same pattern repeated in 2000s and 2010s with Iran's nuclear program. Between the 2010 and 2012, several Iranian nuclear facilities were killed in a series of highly targeted attacks. One was blown up by a magnetic bomb attached to his car by passing motorcyclists in Tehran traffic. Another was shot by a gunman who disappeared before police arrived. Each operation was executed with surgical precision. The message was unmistakable. Those working on Iran's nuclear program were being watched, and they were not safe. In 2020, the world was stunned again by Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, the man believed to be the father of Iran's nuclear program. Was assassinated outside Tehran. Reports suggested he was killed by a remote control machine gun mounted on a pickup truck operated with satellite guidance. It sounded like science fiction, but this happened. Iranian officials immediately blamed Mossad, though Israel remained silent. Once again, mystery surrounded the operation. How was such a weapon smuggled into Iran? How was the convoy penetrated? Who inside Iran may have cooperated? Decades from now, historians may still be debating the answers. What makes Mossad's assassinations operations so mysterious is not just the killings, but the way they are carried out. Sometimes, operatives live under steep cover for years, posing as businessmen, journalists, or even aid workers. They build networks, recruit informants, and wait until the moment is right. Other times, assassinations are quick and brutal. A shot on the dark street, a car that exploded without warning. The variety of methods only adds to the fear. Enemies never know when and how Mossad might strike. And yet, Mossad assassinations are not simply about revenge or punishment. They're part of a larger strategy of deterrence. By targeting leaders, operatives, scientists, Israel sends a message: if you plan to harm us, you will not be safe. It's a chilling message, but one that has been remarkably effective. Many groups have thought twice before acting, knowing the price that might follow. Of course, these operations also raise deep ethical questions. Can a state justify targeted killings on foreign soil? What happens when mistakes are made, as in Norway? How do assassinations impact diplomacy and international law? These are questions that governments and scholars continue to debate, but for Mossad, the answer has always been pragmatic: survival comes first. Perhaps the greatest mystery of all is how many operations we will never know about. For every Eichmann capture of Munich revenge story that enters the history books, there are many dozens of missions erased from the record. Men and women whose faces we will never see, whose names we will never know, slipping through airports with forged passports, carrying out missions that will never have headlines. Because for Mossad, mystery itself is a weapon. By confirming nothing and denying everything, the agency allows rumors to grow. Enemies don't know what's true and what's myth. And in espionage, fear of the unknown is often more powerful than the facts. The story of Mossad's assassins is not one of glamour or heroism. It's a story of cold calculation, of ruthless pragmatism, of a state willing to act in the shadows when it feels threatened. These assassins operate not for fame or recognition, but for silence. Their work is erased, their success is buried, their failures forgotten. They are ghosts, feared, suspected, but rarely seen. So when we talk about Mossad's assassins, we are really talking about the most mysterious dimensions of espionage. The dimensions where the line between myth and reality is deliberately blurred, where legends are built not by telling stories but by keeping them hidden. In the end, perhaps the most frightening part of Mossad's assassinations is not the operations we know about, but the ones we will never know about. And that is why Mossad remains one of the most feared and most mysterious intelligence agencies in the world. In our next video, we will dive into another shadow conflict, the secret rivalry between Mossad and Iran's Quad Force, the battle of sabotage strategy that could decide the future of the Middle East.